The story of the blanket and the beggar. There was once a very wealthy person. They owned a massive company. They employed millions of people across national borders. They lived in a luxury mansion and had houses to which they could retreat on many of the world's continents. It was even rumoured that they had a secret private island where they reigned as monarch over land, sea and skies. One afternoon, this person was out walking the streets. They came upon a beggar sheltering under a blanket. They approached the person, who looked wide-eyed, frightened, thin and timid. With a little patience, they struck up a conversation with this vulnerable person. Having heard how they came to find themselves in this position, the wealthy person was at pains to offer the homeless person some advice. Sitting down on the ground next to them, they looked intently at their threadbare blanket. They noticed it was at one time possibly multicoloured, and some of the more vibrant colours still stood out against the oil, the grease and the city grime. The wealthy person did not touch the beggar or their blanket. Turning to face them squarely and dropping their voice to a stage whisper, the wealthy person offered them the following advice. "I know you'll look at me and where my hard work has got me." They paused, looking at the beggar for some response. The beggar did not even nod, so the wealthy person increased the volume of their speech. "You see, I found my way out of poverty by my own hard work. My hero, Ian Duncan Smith of the Conservative Party, reminded me of an old saying by German Chancellor Adolf Hitler, a man democratically elected to power by the German people, that work makes freedom." Mr. Smith had seen the slogan when he visited a prison camp where Hitler had detained the enemies of the German state and those unworthy of living because they could not produce for the German nation. The wealthy person paused their tale and stood up, apparently clicking their black shoes together and towering over the homeless person, who now clutched at their blanket as if they were holding on to life itself. Their eyes were becoming wider, and still they looked fearful of the wealthy person, who now looked down on them and continued their monologue. "My advice to you is that you get on your bike, stand on your own 2 feet, and start looking for productive work, in German, Arbeit, this very day. In the meantime, let me offer you a little warning about what you do have, and in particular that filthy blanket you're clutching to your chest." The wealthy person began to sound menacing and conspiratorial as they continued. "There are others out there, even poorer than yourself. Others from other lands. You may have heard them called refugees, migrants. Well, these cockroaches of our world need what you have for themselves. Very soon, hordes of them will stream over our national borders, swamp our ports and airports, and believe me, this is a cold country, especially at this time of year. They'll be looking to keep warm. That blanket that is to you life or death, well, these people are going to steal it when they come. As come, they most certainly will. I promise you, those thieves will come. You will still have nothing to speak of anyway But in the meantime, what little you do have will be taken from you by this surging tide of foreign dark faces. They will return your great country to themselves, not to you. They will outlaw your ways and religious practices, and they'll force you to obey their laws. With these words of encouragement, the wealthy person turned and was on their way.